Most people dream about owning a Porsche GT3 RS. Matt Armstrong bought one that had been declared dead. This isn't a restoration story. This isn't a feel-good rebuild. This is a forensic investigation into whether one of the most extreme Porsches ever built can be brought back from the kind of damage that makes insurance companies run. And here's what makes this truly unsettling. Nobody knows if it's even possible yet. What makes a GT3 RS worth risking everything? Let's establish something first. The 992 GT3 RS isn't just another sports car. It's not even just another Porsche. This machine represents the absolute bleeding edge of what Porsche engineering permits on public roads. More downforce than the previous GT2 RS. More carbon fiber than most people see in 10 cars combined. An engine that screams to 9,000 RPM with the precision of a Swiss watch. But here's what most people don't understand about this car. You can't just buy one. Money isn't enough. Enthusiasm doesn't matter. Porsche decides who gets one through their allocation system. You need history. You need loyalty. You need to have proven yourself worthy over years of ownership. That exclusivity creates something unusual in the automotive world. These cars don't depreciate. They appreciate. Used GT3 RS models often sell for more than their original MSRP. So when one suddenly appears on the market at a massive discount, something catastrophic must have happened. The day everything went wrong. This particular GT3 RS had barely lived, approximately 30 miles from factory fresh. Someone had finally received their allocation. They'd waited, they'd paid. They'd driven it out of the dealership, living a dream years in the making. And then, within those first 30 miles, everything ended. An accident. The car left the road, and it didn't just crash, it ended up in a river, fully submerged. Fresh water, which technically matters, but water nonetheless. Now here's what makes this particularly brutal. This GT3 RS was destroyed before its first oil change, before break-in was even complete. Before the owner had experienced what this machine was truly capable of, insurance took one look, total loss. Salvage title, case closed. But Matt Armstrong isn't most people. Where everyone else saw a cautionary tale, Matt saw something different. He saw a GT3 RS that suddenly existed outside Porsche's rules. No allocation needed, no waiting list, no proving yourself worthy. Just one question. Could it be saved? The moment reality arrives, photos lie. Videos soften the truth. Standing in front of the actual car is when reality hits. From certain angles, the GT3 RS still looked aggressive, still recognizable, still unmistakably a weapon. Then you walk around to the damaged side, and the illusion shatters completely. Carbon fiber panels weren't scratched, they were shattered. Body panels weren't misaligned, they were obliterated. Structural components showed visible trauma. Even experienced supercar rebuilders, people who've seen everything, started expressing doubt. And that's significant. Because when professionals who rebuild crashed exotics for a living start hesitating, they know something you don't. They've seen how quickly these projects spiral. They understand what you're about to learn. If you're already questioning whether this was a good idea, comment doubt below. The problem that changes everything. Here's where things get complicated. Crash damage is expensive, but it's visible. You can see what's broken, you can measure what needs replacing, you can calculate, plan, and execute. But this GT3 RS didn't just crash, it drowned. And flood damage operates on an entirely different level of psychological warfare. Water doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't leave obvious calling cards. It infiltrates. It hides. It waits in places you'll never think to check until systems start failing months later. Electrical connector control modules, wiring harnesses, engine internals, transmission components. Every sealed system that was never designed to be submerged suddenly becomes suspect. You don't know what survived. You don't know what's already compromised. And you won't know the full answer until you're already too committed to turn back. Standing there, looking at this flooded, crashed total GT3 RS, Matt faced a choice. Not about content, not about YouTube videos, about whether this decision made any sense at all. Because once you start this journey, there's no graceful exit. You either succeed, or you create one of the most expensive automotive failures in YouTube history. They needed to answer one fundamental question. Was there any life left in this car? But immediately, another problem surfaced. No key. On a regular car, that's annoying. On a modern Porsche 992, it's a legitimate crisis. These cars don't just unlock and start. They authenticate across multiple encrypted systems. They verify identity through layers of communication protocols. They require handshakes between modules before anything powers up. Without the key, the car is essentially a very expensive sculpture. Still, curiosity demanded an attempt. Battery connected, power carefully applied, systems cautiously energized. And then, something happened. Interior lights flickered on. Ambient lighting glowed softly. The cabin illuminated like the car was trying to remember what it used to be. For one brief moment, hope appeared. Then everyone looked at the instrument cluster. Nothing. No startup sequence, no Porsche crest animation, no warnings, no errors. Just darkness. The kind of silence that doesn't feel neutral. It feels ominous. Because at this point, you don't know what you're dealing with. A simple communication fault? Or systems so damaged they've given up entirely? Question for you. Would you continue at this point or walk away? Comment continue or walk away. The inspection that changed everything. The car was lifted. This is typically where bad projects reveal their true nature. Bent frame rails, crushed subframes, destroyed mounting points, catastrophic structural damage hiding underneath. Everyone prepared for the worst. And then, surprisingly, it wasn't there. The underside wasn't perfect. Damage was visible. Components were compromised. But the catastrophic structural failure everyone expected. Absent. No twisted chassis. No folded frame rails. No instant project killer. For the first time since purchasing this flooded GT3 RS, something unexpected happened. Genuine hope, not optimism, not excitement. Just the quiet realization that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't completely impossible. If you felt that same unexpected relief, hit the like button. But hope doesn't last long. As the inspection continued, smaller details started accumulating. Fluids looked wrong. Textures were off. Colors didn't match what they should. Systems responded. Strangely, not broken, not functional, just wrong. And slowly, the truth became impossible to ignore. Water had been everywhere. Not just on surfaces, not just in obvious places, everywhere. Inside sealed compartments, through supposedly watertight systems, in channels and cavities designed to never see moisture. It had infiltrated this precision-engineered machine in ways that made experienced rebuilders physically uncomfortable. Because here's what most people don't understand about water damage. It's not about what you can see, it's about what you can't. It's about the corrosion starting in places you won't discover until components fail. It's about contamination in systems that demand absolute purity. Subscribe now, because what they found next made everyone question whether this project should continue. The discovery that changed the conversation. When they finally inspected the engine bay closely, the entire atmosphere shifted. This wasn't surface water. This wasn't moisture that could be dried and forgotten. This was infiltration. Evidence that water had penetrated systems engineered to be absolutely sealed. Spaces designed for perfection. Areas that should never, ever see contamination. And at that moment, the conversation completely changed. This was no longer about fixing damage. This became about whether the heart of this GT3 RS, its engine, had survived at all. Because if the engine didn't make it, nothing else mattered. The GT3 RS engine isn't just expensive. It's basically sacred in the Porsche world. A 4.0-litre naturally aspirated flat-six that revs to 9,000 RPM.